Is Dame Dollar making a case for himself in the MVP race? And if so, where should he be ranked?
He's not really in the race. If you're talking about the race among people likely to get it, Giannis is so far ahead of the pack. And then there are others like LeBron and AD and Luka and James Harden who have legitimate cases. And Stephen A., it pains me to say this, I don't want to be up here arguing against Damian Lillard. Like, a stat that we didn't just give out is since he's been hot, he's shooting something like 50 or 60% from like 30 feet. He's unconscious. And I love what he said after that no call that cost him the game. They're in the middle of a brutal stretch, and they have some losses, and a game that they should have won. Damian Lillard is a no-excuse player for himself, for the officials. He's not trying to hear your excuses, and he also doesn't cut himself any slack. Stephen A., he didn't leave and chase a ring somewhere. He stayed right where he was and said, if I'm going to get this ring, it's going to be, I'm going to do it honestly. I'm going to come by it honestly. He's trying to lead a franchise there. I have the utmost respect for him. To say it's in a league where over 50% of the teams make the playoffs, even in the Western Conference, over 50% of the teams make the playoffs. You cannot be an MVP candidate from a non-playoff team. Because in basketball, one player has too much influence over the outcome of a game. He's having a great season. I think if you don't consider LeBron a point guard, he's the best point guard in basketball, certainly he or Harden. He's past Kyrie. He's better than Kemba. I love Damian Lillard. But I cannot say he's an MVP at this moment from a non-playoff team. Also, he really turned it on in the last several weeks. Some guys have been doing it at that level almost, not quite this level, all year.
Max, I agree with you. He's not a part of the MVP discussion. And I hate saying that because I think this brother's a superstar. He is something special to behold. I want to let everybody know, over the last 10 games, Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers are 7-3. I want to read these numbers to you, Max. Over the last 10 games, Damian Lillard has 61, 47, 50, 36, 48, 51. Then he had a couple of games where it was only 21 and 26 points. And then he dropped 42 against Utah in the loss Friday night. And then 33 in the win over Miami. Let me tell y'all something. This brother is on another level because, you see, here's the thing. Damian Lillard can make shots. Long range. As a matter of fact, the further he is from the basket, the more they go in, it seems, okay? Obviously, he's shooting 88% from the free throw line, so he can help you with his perimeter play, and that's really what the key is here. I don't think he has enough help. I think once Nurkic gets back, I think they'll look even better. They seem to be on a little tear right now. We'll find out. Clearly a bogus no call on the part of the referees. There's no way in hell that goaltending should not have been called. My man Ryan Rucco and Doris Burke, the wonderful Doris Burke, was calling the game. She highlighted how egregious of a miss it was by the officials, and she could not have been more right. That was a goaltending by Rudy Gobert. It should have been called. I don't blame Damian Lillard for being
miss goaltending, too.
Absolutely.
Hard
Three referees right there. It's a key play in the game. It had tied the score. There's no reason on earth why you don't make that call. It was just egregious. But again, like you said, the Portland Trail Blazers have been struggling all season long. This is a team that was in the Western Conference Finals last year, and this year, you know what? They're trying to get into a top 8 seed. That is a problem. And when that kind of situation exists, you can't be talking league MVP. But it is worth mentioning. Again, I put it to you this way, here's what we need to appreciate about Damian Lillard. We love Russell Westbrook, and Russell Westbrook is a star, and we appreciate his fervor. But in the same breath, you got to make those perimeter shots. If you're Houston and you have this dude shoot perimeter shots, what are you looking like? See, these are the kind of things that we got to pay attention to when we're breaking down basketball. You're talking about people in terms of different situations, what they would do for a particular team. If we're talking about Harden, imagine if you had somebody that you can launch the ball to from 35 feet and they can make shots. That's a difference than somebody who's driving to the basket and blowing by people.
With Steph out of the league, when you talk about the real point guards, Harden's a combo
Chris
guard
Paul
in the
is having a
backcourt.
sensational year.
Chris Paul, I would not take Chris Paul over Damian Lillard. Not close.
No, I'm not saying that. I got it.
But Chris Paul, no doubt. And Ben Simmons is having a great year. Just it doesn't show up in the numbers all the time because Embiid's there sucking up a lot of shots.
But he's an elite
and
defender.
Simmons doesn't shoot, but he's a monster defensively. in terms of the point guards, this stuff is in flux. Some years it looks like Kyrie's ahead of Damian Lillard, among the shorter, kind of more typical, prototypical point guards. Lillard's past all those guys. He's with Steph hurt, and even when Steph comes back, let's see where he is. Lillard is operating, and you brought this up last year when you started talking MVP and who's had the better season. He has, of all those kind of players, he's probably number one in the league right now. But you got to make the playoffs in this league. You can run every play through your best player. MVPs never come from non-playoff teams.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.